Good Monday to you, everybody in Com 110. Welcome to week, we'll wait for it, bam, 8. You made it. We're at the end of the course. That calls for yet another sip of coffee. Oh, slight celebration there. Let's change the lighting in here. Google, lights off. Google, what am I thinking? Alexa, lights off. There we go. Okay. Welcome to week 8, the end of the course. All right. What do we got for this week? A couple of announcements and then the things to do. I am busy grading your quizzes, which are due tonight at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Still daylight time because we haven't fallen back yet. I don't know. I always lose track of when that is, but it's coming up. So make sure that you finish that. And as I said in my last video, I'm under some serious time constraints this week in regards to what I can and cannot do by way of flexibility. So please don't contact me Tuesday morning and say, oh no, I didn't get to the quiz because etc. etc. The registrar is really on us to get the final grades completed and get them in. Okay, so you have to hit this one. You have to hit the post, as we say. You really have to hit the timing. Okay, so that's due tonight. This is from week 7. All right, make sure that you do that. For this week, you have 2 assignments, 2 things to occupy your attention. Number 1 is your 4th speech. Okay. And I posted over in the assignments tab, and also in the module, I posted a link to the assignments tab for the speech here for week 8. Good news. This one you should hit out of the park because it is all about you. We're going to practice the descriptive narrative, which we're using, language that invokes emotion, that invokes imagery, that gives the listener a visceral connection to the story. And the subject of this descriptive narrative is you. Now, when you're writing a descriptive narrative, you do not absolutely have to use the 3-act story structure, but it's one that's really common. You'll see it used now during the political season on the 3-act story structure, where the protagonist is, it's usually you as the candidate addresses you, and then saying, this is what moves you along, and then they'll throw in pinch points, which I addressed last week to suggest plot points, that is, things that you do. Okay. 3-act story structure is really common. Another story structure that's really common, and we're not covering in this class, but I'll just mention it, is something called Freytag's pyramid, and that's Freytag, Freytag. And Freytag's pyramid is it's named after the person that introduced it. It's a standard structure used for tragedy. Shakespeare's Hamlet is a classic example of Freytag's pyramid, that you have the introduction in which you get the protagonist, and then the first part of the story structure is this sort of rise in action. In this case, if you know the story of Hamlet, if you don't, here it is in brief. Hamlet is this prince in this little Danish kingdom, and one day, very sad, his father is dead. Okay. His mother, who is now the queen, takes a new husband, and the husband happens to be his father's brother, Hamlet's uncle. All right, now, as part of the protocol of the royal structure, Hamlet owes his allegiance to the new king, his uncle. But Hamlet is confronted by the ghost of his dead father, who tells him, "Woo, Hamlet, I didn't just die. Somebody poisoned me, and guess who it was? It was my brother, who now has married Hamlet's mother." Hamlet's new king. So this is the rising action in Freytag's pyramid, and it's sort of, like this up structure, down structure. That's why it's named pyramid. And the point, the turning point in this tragedy is where Hamlet realizes he's damned if he does, if he's damned if he doesn't, because he's now stuck between two imperatives, things he must do. Number one, he must be loyal to the king because that's his duty within the royal structure. He's a prince. And number two, he must defend his blood kin, that is his father, and avenge his father's murder. But if he avenges his father's murder, then he has to kill the king. So in seeing to the second obligation, he violates the first. If he adheres to the first, that is loyal to the king, he violates the second. He's doomed. Right? There's just no way this is going to end well. You'll hear this often in political speeches. The setup is, you want to run your life and you want to go about your business, and that's the rise of the pyramid. But then rising gas prices, home prices, because of this administration or that administration's lousy policies, and now your life is screwed. Down the other side of the slope you go. All right, that's common in political speech, right? Freytag's pyramid. What we're focusing on, because it's a fairly straightforward one, and it's used for things that don't end well. And I didn't want to give you an assignment to write a speech about yourself where it didn't end well. Well, that might be a useful exercise. But in this case, we're going to use the 3-act story structure for you to write a descriptive narrative about yourself that focuses on an episode in your life in which an event changed your understanding of yourself and the world. And remember, use vivid detail, use figurative language, be precise in your language. Remember, figurative language and detailed languages, that this means adjectives, they're like spices. Okay, when you're cooking, like salt. Enough is just right, too much is too much. Okay, so don't go overboard. And then by way of organization, you're going to use the 3-act story structure, just like you studied last week and you took the quiz. Okay, so that assignment is this week, and you'll need to have it done October the 10th. That's 3 days from now, and the upload link is over there. Okay. Secondly, for this week, to close out the week, we have a final exam. All right, now the final exam is worth more than your quizzes have been, although you've taken 4 quizzes at 30 points apiece. So what is that, 120? All right. Not bad. But what you'll do for the final exam is it's going to be worth 200 points. It's going to open on the 11th of October and close on the 12th. You'll have more time, obviously, than you did for your quizzes. But here is the big difference, and I need you to pay very close attention to what I'm going to say. The final exam is a closed book exercise. Now, why is that? Well, as I've mentioned, at different parts in this course, as as a sort of a learning modality, we've gotten really good at looking things up. And to be very honest with you, I can tell in reading your quizzes that many of you are just taking the words of the terms and then going over to another tab and looking it up. I can tell, first of all, in your language. All right. I mean, I have an ear/ear eye for your voice and what you write, in the same way that a musician has an ear for, certain instruments, or whether someone has perfect pitch or not. I've been doing this for so long, and I'm a writer. All right. I'm not bragging. I'm not flexing on you. I'm just telling you how I know. I can tell that you're looking up the answers. I can also tell because when you do an assignment in Canvas, your online activity is being tracked. Now, this isn't something I'm doing to you, right? This is something that Canvas does and then sends me the report. It's just the technology, man. All right. So we've gotten really good at looking things up, but we've not gotten so good at developing systems by which we remember things. Now, when you're speaking, when you're doing public speaking or writing or doing whatever you're going to do, it is in your best interest to work on, and developing those skills of recall. Go, yeah, okay, I remember that. So, unlike the quizzes, you will not be allowed to look up material. This is not open book. It's closed book, it's closed note, it's closed internet. And again, I'm not, as I said before, I'm not going to get into the technological specifics, but I'm simply going to tell you plainly and directly, when you take a test in Canvas, your activity is being tracked. And for those who violate the no book, no note rule, you risk receiving a 0 for this assignment. And since this assignment, the final exam is worth 200 points, a 0, 0 out of 2 for 200 points out of 1,000, that's pretty much your grade. Okay. Don't do it. How do you get ready for the test then? Go back and study the questions and the answers from the quizzes. All right. I will draw the final exam from the quizzes. Some of the questions will look very similar, a wink, in terms of word structure and what you're being asked. They'll all look similar by way of content, that is what it is that we've covered, and concept. The why did we cover this? What's the point? All right. So if you study the material that went into making up the quizzes, you're gonna do just fine. Just fine. Okay. All right, everybody. I'm looking forward to this final speech. I'd love to hear all about you. I hope you enjoyed the read for week 7. That is the story that I posted along with it, called The Present. I have a confession to make. For if you haven't taken the quiz already, I put a bonus question in there. It can give you some extra points. Okay, and it's actually, when I calculated how many points I'd assigned to it, it's like the bonus points equal 25% of the total points for the quiz, which is really not bonus. I mean, that's just way too high. But I thought, yeah, okay, what the heck. And I like for multiple choice, I like units of 4. So there is one of the song lyrics that I put that's part of the. And I'm not going to describe the question, because if you haven't taken the quiz yet, you'll see it when you get it. But there's one of the song lyrics that I put in that question that is not in the story. Why that particular song lyric? True confession. I was listening to the album from which that song lyric is taken, and actually that song was playing as I was writing the quiz. So that, I need another lyric to round this out. So this doesn't have just 3 items for extra credit. I wanted it to have 4. Why not this one? So if you read the story and you go, yeah, that's weird, I don't remember seeing that lyric in there, that's because it wasn't. I just put it in there because I was listening to it. All right, everybody. Good job. Hang in there, hang tough. You're almost done. You got this. Right. If you have any questions, this is the, Monday. I'm here doing office hours, like even as I record this. This is the week before, say, Wednesday, which is the 9th. Yeah, this is the week, to ask them. Oh, I should say, some of you asked me about the syllabus quiz. No, I'm not going to count that in your grade. I'll do it either one or 2 ways. I'll just, because it's not meant to be. It's a stupid thing that they make us do to make sure you're not a robot. Okay, I know you're not a robot, but the system doesn't. I'll do it one of 2 ways. I'll either just take it out of the calculation when I calculate your final grade, or I'll make sure that everybody has 100 points. I know some of you got like 75 or something. I'll just change your score to 100. And then I will calculate your grade based on a scale of 1,100 points. Same. Understand? Okay. All right. So if you're looking at the percentage of where you're at and you're going, oh, whoa, look at this, 100 points for the quiz. I'm at like 90, something. One of you emailed me and said, I'm at 107%. How can that be? That's because, a Canvas thinks because I told it that there's only 1,000 points possible for the class. But in terms of point offering, it's 1,100 when Canvas factors in the syllabus quiz, which isn't going to be factored in to your final grade. Okay. So don't worry. It'll all be okay. All right, everybody. That's it. Have a great week. Good luck finishing the quiz. I'm looking forward to your last speech, and focus in on preparing for the final exam. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Okay. I think about you. I pray about you. Have a wonderful, blessed week. I'll see you on Canvas. Bye-bye.